Hello everyone and welcome to the Lightbringers Guild Wars 2 podcast. If you cannot hear the channel or me talking right now, it doesn't actually matter because you won't be able to tell me if that's the case, which that was just also a really bad intro. As per usual, I failed with the intro, which is what I mainly opt in to do. I hope everyone is well. This is episode 22. We're talking today to our amazing, brand new, just off the, I don't know, rail? I was gonna say just off the rail? I was trying to convey a belt. I mean, I don't even know.
The airship.
Just
off the packed airship.
They have just landed into the realm of the Lightbringers podcast. We don't have our usual folks here, but there are some people who have been here before as well. Rava and Malcolmist have already been here before, but we are seeing Kiyoshi and Chef, who are both new to the podcast as well. I hope everyone is well and you're having a good day thus far. They're all obviously very confident, happy to be here. No one's tired at all. The amount of energy that exists right now in the podcast is phenomenal. No one's woken up at 5:30 a.m. Everyone is normally awake by now and fully engaged in the world and haven't been upset about that at all. I like how everyone's very straight-faced right now and
Well, we got all the banter out of the way early, so now we're like, this is the slow decline into being tired again because half of us are on Aussie time.
And we're trying to behave like Rook and Kroof who cut off your intro. We're like, oh, okay, we need to be reinvited, guys. Be nice.
Normally Boots as well. Boots is normally just forgets we've started, and he'll just be like, oh yeah, so can I talk about this? Boots, literally doing the intro, dude. I need 10 seconds so I can do an ad at the beginning. Like 10 seconds. That's all I want. Hey, shush. He doesn't actually know that's the reason. Which is fair, but I do a little. That's why I do the nodding. That's normally for me. Anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. We have 5 lovely guests. They have been just added to the Arenanet Guild Wars 2 program. There's been a lot of shifts and changes because we've got awesome new people looking after the program. So that's been very cool to see. It means we've got just a bunch more active people as well. So when people go onto the website, they can actually click a streamer and they're streaming Guild Wars 2 probably as well. So it's really awesome. If you want to apply to the program, there'll be a link in the description. Sorry, to Jen. If you start getting random applications to the program, but we'll start talking about how maybe, and also get a little bit of advice about maybe how folks can do that from our four wonderful new partners. What I'm going to ask everyone to do very, very quickly is just say who they are, what they do, where they do it, and kind of rough times they may stream, if they stream, or when they maybe put out content on whatever platform they do it on. Rava, you want to start? What do you do, where you do it, all the things?
Sure. Hi, my name is Rava, and I'm an Australian/French streamer who lives in Australia, so my stream's quality is a little bit weird because we don't have proper internet in Australia. And during the day, I'm an MS scientist and researcher. Other than that, I'm all about inclusivity and mental health. That's why Jebro and I really like each other. And I do lots of raids and helping people with raids achievements as well.
Awesome. That's right. Yes. You do help people with raid achievements. And consistently are ridiculous on your stream as well. It's very fun to watch and very engaging. Fully immersive in the ridiculousness. I do love it. Your community is a great bunch of folks. Lovely to have you here, my friend. Oh yeah, of course. You're all good streamers. You're all doing great things. I appreciate what you're doing. You have a good positive message for our directory as well, which is really important. Malcolmist, hello. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful.
Excellent.
My name is Malcolmist. I am obviously Guild Wars 2 streamer. I do artwork, and I do lore videos on YouTube and time lapses on TikTok as well as YouTube. And I stream from 3 days of the week for Guild Wars 2, and I just kind of do my thing in PvE and right now I'm helping some people with some raid clears for their coalescence and stuff like that. So it's been pretty cool.
Nice. Yes, Malcolmus does a lot of awesome artwork and actually did an emote, which is just going into the chat right now, of T-Bolt, who is there right there, did that for us. And that is your artwork on your Discord as well, right? There. That's
Correct.
your that's your stuff. Make sure to check them out. You tweet out don't you do like the coloring in competitions and stuff and
every 2 to 3 weeks I do a coloring page giveaway, and it promotes mental health and just taking a moment, taking a breather. And so I've gotten a lot of people who have loved it, and so I've kept going for like 5 years now.
Awesome.
So
I do love
thing.
that. It's pretty damn cool. I need to
and I have like a huge Dropbox too of like, I think it's like 200 coloring pages by this point. But
oh really? I actually may need to print some of those off
all
and take them to my
free.
office.
All completely free.
I might do that actually. Nice one. Thank you, Malcolm. It's awesome to have you back. Kiyoshi.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Kiyoshi, hello. What'd you do? Do you want to tell us all about yourself?
Hi. I'm Kiyoshi. I stream pretty much every day right now. We do kind of everything on Guild Wars, but I do try to do a minimum of like 2 raid trainings or Fractal CM trainings kind of every week for people.
Oh, cool.
On Thursdays and Fridays. Today's going to be one of them.
Awesome. So make sure to check that out if you're watching live as well. What times do you normally stream?
4 p.m. Central, but so normally in about 30 minutes, but not today.
Yes, they're going to be streaming and on the podcast. Multi-skilled, multi-talented.
Yeah.
This is good times. Good times. Kiyoshi's first time on the podcast as well, so welcome. Good to have you here. If you hear a little bit of metal banging in the background, it's because apparently there is a building being constructed literally in front of my building, which is great. Really fun. Last but certainly not least, the sarcastic and wonderful chef is joining us, as I'm finding out today. He's probably more sarcastic.
I'm a
than
little
most
concerned
English
that that's
people.
my intro after like we just hung out for a little bit, but I guess I can't really deny it.
It's a compliment, definitely. It's a
I'm
compliment.
gonna take it that way for sure. Otherwise, I don't know how I get through the day.
Yeah.
It's not just you either. My name is Chef. I'm a doctoral student in education in real life. I study video games in my work, and then I come home and I play video games for fun. I do pretty much only World versus World, so I'm a little specialized in my content compared to the other lovely guests that we have here. But given that it's a game mode that's driven primarily by having a sense of community, I'm really excited that it finally has some representation in the partner program, so that there's people who can, kind of cross server boundaries and get people talking to one another, which is something that the game mode kind of lacks lately.
Absolutely, that's very true. Because partners, if you don't know, and this is information I'm allowed to tell you all, we do indeed have the ability to cross servers for free. It's one of those things we're allowed to do. It's pretty cool. So we can cross
The moment I
regions
could
and
do
servers.
it, I've done it.
Aha! Yeah, of course you did. Everyone did. That was the first thing they did, and then they didn't anymore. Like, I don't want to move off my server because I can't get back. But yes, everyone in chat who's just joined us live, welcome. I hope you're well. We're here 1 p.m. Pacific on a Friday, mostly, depending on whether or not there's a ton going on with the game and whatnot. There's not always things to talk about. We can't talk about stuff every single week, and sometimes we have to have a break because we've got a lot going on ourselves in our lives. But you can also check us out on Spotify. Just do the Lightbringers Podcast. You can find us there. You can find us on my YouTube at youtube.com/JebroUnity, as well on Twitch, twitch.tv/JebroUnity, which is where we're live now. So if you're watching this or listening to this on Spotify and you want to join us live and have a chat live with us, that's 1 p.m. Pacific on a Friday, 8 p.m. GMT. That's during the summer. That's going to change, obviously, when time zones go back. Because, this whole thing of like time zone changes, this daylight savers time is still happening. And, I'm not sure why. But anyway, that's a different conversation. Not important right now. But what I wanted to do was, first of all, it was like, we got this influx of new partners. And I was like, okay, I want to talk to these guys on stream. And then Chef ruined it and came along as well. And I was like, now I've got to get
What
all
the
of them. And I was like, I've got 3 people. And now Chef's here. I got to ask Chef as well. It's okay. I'm British. I'm like, sarcasm is like my middle.
I was the
name.
first one in. They all came in after me.
Oh, in the chat?
First chef.
Yeah.
Oh, in the chat, in the actual chat. Yeah, that's true. In the channel. I asked you last because you were the
Called
last
out
one to join.
today.
No, Chef. The reason is I can tell Chef is going to be a good sport. It's okay. I rib everyone on the podcast. It's okay.
So we're not gonna be
People who are
sports,
sarcastic share mutual sarcasm energy with others.
We do. That energy is very unconscious. So
It's like we're drift compatible.
it is, exactly. So I wanted to just ask a bunch of questions. It was also in a way to tell people about like the fact that Guild Wars 2 are really focusing on kind of the community side of, I guess, streamers and content creators and how they're trying to do a lot more work with folks and just getting a lot more eyes on you all, really, because this podcast on YouTube gets a fair amount of views, but on Spotify, like we have like over 100,000 listens right now, and it's doing really well. So
Whoa.
it's doing pretty good.
Congrats.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the place where we have like, you know, a bunch of followers as well. So everyone on Spotify, thank you. And please, if you can review the podcast as well, muchly appreciated. Gets out to a ton more people. So I want to know, first of all, because obviously, you know, we had some changes in terms of, you know, people hadn't got in for a while, and there was some rumblings about, you know, when will they add new partners and all this kind of stuff, and job roles change and all this kind of thing. And then it was like, okay, we've just got a bunch of new partners. What was it like when you first got that content, or whatever you got, and you were told, congratulations, you're in the Arenanet program? Like, what was the... I think Rava wants to go first.
Well, to be fair, I had my first ever round of COVID, and I was like in bed,
Oh my
literally
God.
like, and someone told me that Kiyoshi just got in, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna go congratulate him, and I was like, oh, I wish it was me though, but I'm happy for him. And the moment, like, see, this is why good karma and good things happen. The moment I opened his stream to say congratulations, I got the news as well. And so Guild Wars 2 should literally patent a cure for COVID, because I got cured for at least 2 days before it hit me again. I was that excited. But yeah, it was great. I've been waiting it for a very long time, and I'm so happy because like when I joined, like a lot of partners that are my friends, like you, Jebro, were like, and it felt like
Yeah.
I had joined the friends. Like it was really cool.
I can tell the joy on your face is very genuine, and I'm taking it in right now. That's awesome. Love it. Yeah,
I'm so happy.
I know you're all really, really chuffed. Like this is good stuff. Kiyoshi, what was it like for you? How did you feel?
It was pretty good. I got my email back in the middle of a Strike CM run with some friends, and I died every pull because I was excited.
So Arena,
They're like,
literally
bro,
just
what's going on with you? Yeah, and I was like, I don't think I can share it yet. I was just like, the only thing I said was good email.
Email killed you in the game. Amazing.
Good email.
So if you want to put Kiyoshi off like the game, like you just don't go into World v World and like, you know, stream snipe and like just send him an email saying you've won this thing, like, and just be like, yeah, oh. Don't do that. Please
It
don't
was
do
funny
that.
though.
Good times. That's great. How about you, Malcolmist? What was it like for you?
It was crazy. Actually, I told my husband, because I was expecting an email from my doctor, and I told my husband, can you please watch my phone for me, because I need to know when to respond to this email.
Yeah.
And so my husband holds my phone in front of my face and wakes me up, and like he goes like, hey, you should probably look at your phone real quick. And I'm like, wait, what what's wrong? And I'm half asleep at this point because I just woke up, and he holds the phone in front of my face, and I just see Guild Wars 2 has messaged you. And I freaked out because I didn't know what this meant, and I didn't know what to do, and I literally screamed. And I started reading the email, and I couldn't process it to the point where I literally begged my husband to punched me in the arm because I felt like I was still sleeping.
Oh, that's so cute.
And it finally processed, and I'm glad that I saw it before it was too late, because then I would have had to wait till Monday to get everything signed and everything.
Oh.
So yeah.
Nice.
But I was crying literally on my couch.
Oh, you were so well. Is it awesome to say you were crying? I mean, those happy tears. It's fine.
Happy tears, yeah, happy tears.
Yeah. That works. Awesome. That's a really nice story. Chef, how about you?
It was good. I liked it.
That's all I was gonna say.
No, I thought about it, but then I figured I should give a real answer. Honestly, it caught me off guard. So the World versus World community has talked a lot about like how any kind of recognition is valuable because it's kind of a niche game mode.
Sure.
And so I have been applying for the partner program like every couple months since August, basically. And the first response I got back was partner programs getting reworked, email back later, and then I'd email back every couple months. Never really hear anything. But it would be a topic of discussion on like Indo's podcast, the Commander Roundtable. We'd talk about what a partner could do for the game mode because the community is so important in World versus World. And so when I got the email in my inbox, I was like, there's no shop that like they picked me over like Kyoshi or Nova or Indo or like any of the 6 to 12 people who play World versus World that are like bigger in terms of metrics than I am. But like, lo and behold, whatever algorithm is going on in the back end, I guess it picked me as the guy to be one of the representatives for the game mode. So I'm still kind of like I had a list of ideas of things I wanted to do with partner, like what it could accomplish for the game mode, and I never really got them crystallized, so it kind of caught me off guard a bit. But slowly getting my feet wet with like what can we do to advance the game mode and share this weird little quirky PvP thing that we all like to do with people who might not have tried to do it before.
Awesome. And there's like an additional thing, and that goes for anyone that wants to, who does apply for like partner programs or and for any game or influencer stuff that you want to apply for. Like the whole idea of metrics is starting to get. I mean, obviously it depends what it is, right? Like so for Guild Wars 2, there's more. They're looking more at the value you create in terms of your community and who you are. Right, as a person. So if you're someone who's pretty toxic on your stream and you're going to be, a little bit abusive to folks most of the time, you're probably not going to get partner, right?
He's not really talking about me. He's not.
Oh no, I'm not talking about anyone. I mean, you all got partner. You're good. So like, it's all about like the optics, right? Like of like who you are, how your community acts, what kind of a role model you are to them. And that is what they probably picked up with all of you about, I would say, because that's good for the game, honestly. Like they want those kinds of people over, like,
And it goes to show that like you should be yourself. Like I know like a lot of especially newer streamers, when they're trying to figure out who they are, they're like, oh, I'm gonna be edgy and like tell cringy jokes, and because like that people will notice me and stuff. You don't need to do that. Like this goes to show like the four of us and even you, Jebro, and a bunch of amazing partners are all about their community and helping others and just trying to do some good in this world that right now is a scary place, and I think that's really refreshing. So if it shows a message is to be yourself, and you don't need to be a toxic edgelord, like it won't. The problem is with Twitch and Kick, like right now, that's what people think they need to do to make it, and it's not true.
Yeah, it's all
because
drama
it gets the most attention.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And it's the companies don't want drama. People don't want drama, and like if that's your thing and that's who you want to be online, then okay. But your expectation to be in programs and stuff like that, you know what that little tiny bit, Okay.
Especially a program that is super positive and like brings a lot of like Guild Wars 2, they've like they do a lot for inclusivity and representation. So definitely like if you're someone who goes against that, then yeah, you might not.
Yeah, that
I
might
don't
is
know.
probably won't be the best for you. I got a question. I wanted to ask kind of where you all maybe started with Guild Wars 2, when maybe you started playing, and like what drew, like who brought you, maybe even who brought you into the game. Like what did you start with Guild Wars 2? Was it beta? Was it like last year? Anyone want to go first?
I can. I actually have a weird experience with the Guild Wars. I had a friend who wanted to play in the beta, but I was like, I never heard of Guild Wars, nah. And then, just passed it up for a few months.
I remember this story, yeah.
Yeah, and my cousin, who I know very well because we get along and play a lot of the same games, a few months later, he's like, I've been playing Guild Wars 2. I know you love it. So I started playing with my cousin, and that was in like 2012. That was a good. I loved it. It was a good time.
Nice. Okay. What did you pick up? Are you still playing the same class you're playing today?
On the same what?
Class. Sorry, you're still playing what? Was it? Do you play one class specifically, or?
Mainly, my main is definitely warrior, and I looked at my time. It's about like 80-something% of my play time is on one character. But I do play a lot of the other, a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, I always like that little addition to that question. Awesome. So you played since, was it beta or just like after launch?
In December. I remember. I know when my character's birthday is because I bought it on Christmas.
Oh, okay, fair play. Awesome, good stuff. How about you, Malcolmist?
I personally started playing before the beta, or technically I was playing with the beta. I got involved because my husband was a huge fan of Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars 1. He used to play Guild Wars 1 all the time.
Nice.
And so he wanted to introduce me to Guild Wars 2 because he loved it so much, and so I decided to give it a try because I used to be a WoW player. And I picked it up prior to the beta and stuff like that. We even got a huge guild together and all this kind of stuff. And so we started playing in with the betas, and then started playing the 3 days ahead of time, and then have been here ever since.
Awesome. Yeah. I remember that, the 3-day head start.
Mm.
These betas were so the golden era. I love that. Those betas were like no one knew what the hell was going on in the betas, and like World v World was a mess, and it was awesome. It was the best. I swear, I know it's gonna sound bad, but I feel like this is the best World v World ever was, because it was just everyone was everywhere, like, all over the map. There were no blobs or anything. It was.
I wish I had seen that.
Hilarious.
I remember the ball caps we all got, and
yeah. I had to apply.
The 100 Games event that we got to play at the very last day. That was so much fun.
And everyone turned into what were they? The purple shard things. Oh my god. During the event, what was it they turned into? They turned into you got killed, so you got caught, and you turned into a something.
Was it a wisp? I don't remember.
No. It was one of the. Oh my god, one of the dragon's minions. Oh.
Are you referring to Kralkatorix minions?
Branded?
Yeah, the branded.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah. We got turned into the branded. There you go. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Funny
During beta, by the way.
Yes,
I was
in
on
the beta.
Seeking
FBI
context.
during the beta.
It was so good.
I remember winning that round.
You did? I got
I was
pretty
one of the winners.
That's awesome. Oh my
But
god.
yeah,
So long.
that was some good times.
So many good times. Okay. Chef, how about you? When did you start? Sounds like you started around that time as
Sorry,
well.
I had to bully Kyoshi in chat really quick. I'm back.
Okay.
My story is a little different. I played on release with the rest of the educational game studio that I worked with at the time.
Yeah.
I beat all of them to 80 because I was younger than all of them, and then I couldn't find anything to do at 80 because I was alone and I quit.
Oh.
And then like 7-8 years later, something like that. This is like 2017.
Yeah.
I got the Jingle Jam bundle from the Yogscast.
Oh yeah.
And there was a code for Path of Fire in it. So I was like, I played that a while ago. I'll fire it up again. I'll see if anything interesting is going on. And when I tried it at that point, I got hooked by World versus World. I hit 80. I was like, I'm just going to try this game mode out. I ran with a couple public tags. I was like, wow, this is really neat. Reminds me of like doing Alterac Valley and the big PvP game modes in World of Warcraft.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just kind of hooked from there. And then I just kind of gradually got, more serious and more invested in the game mode over the course of a couple of years. I've been like a serious quote unquote World versus World main for, I don't know, maybe like 3 years at this point.
Yeah.
So relative to everyone else, like I'm still very, very new at the game relative to virtually everyone else who plays Guild Wars, it feels like. But, the community is really welcoming and accepting of that kind of thing because everyone's just excited to share about this game that they like.
Damn. Good. Okay. That's great. Good little roundup there. I love it. It's like you're all content creators and you've done this before or something. Okay. So when, in terms of all of you creating, go on.
Does that mean I don't get to answer?
Oh,
No.
did I not ask you? Oh
didn't-
my
he
god,
didn't ask you.
Rafa, I thought I went that way.
That's
I'm
it.
the worst.
I'm out. Enjoy
Oh
your
my God.
podcast, Jebro.
I'm so sorry.
I was super excited for my answer.
So quick, blame the quag and blame it. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
I'm gonna
Give me
raise
a
my
hug.
betting
Oh,
desk and
I'm
just
sorry.
squeeze it.
Look at my belly. Sorry.
Oh
Jebro
wow.
be like, so what's your deal? Why are you here?
So we have drama now in the partner program.
I've only done over 200 episodes of varying podcasts before, so I'm still pretty new at this. So I'm just saying.
No, it's because I've been here 3 times. Jebro doesn't care about my answers anymore.
I definitely care about your answers, my friend.
Yeah,
give me all the things.
All right, so I didn't start when beta and stuff like this. Pretty much, I had just finished my pre-med degree, and with my friend, we were partying in a gay club. And we started complaining about representations in game, and I'm like, oh, there's not enough representations for I love women, and and then he's like, actually, I know a game for you. And it was Guild Wars 2. Like, the story had just happened. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a beautiful moment. And so I started playing this in 2015, right before Heart of Thorn came out.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and it was really cool because I didn't know anything. So, and I really liked instance content. So I was doing a lot of fractals, and I didn't know about meta back then. So I was running this really tanky firebrand, and when Heart of Thorn came out, everybody knew that I had a really tanky firebrand. So they asked me to tank for raids, like when raids came out during Heart of Thorn, and that's how I started raiding. And it turned out that it was, and I don't mean this to brown nose or anything, but honestly, it saved my life, because then I started my PhD, and it was very isolating. I was in a very bad place in terms of my supervisor was awful, and she tried to isolate me a lot. So this is where I found friends. Like, this is where I had social time, and it led to so many beautiful opportunities. And now I have my PhD, and yeah, so it was like the best decision of my life to complain about representations in game and then finding the game that represents us all. So that's really cool.
That's very cool. So even just the ethos and the idea of what Arenanet wanted to create in terms of their inclusivity drew people in. That's very cool. It's kind of cool to hear about like the jingle thing giveaway on the Yogscast channel as well, and how that pulled you in. And then we just got the beta nubs here. And like early, like we just got in when we could right at the beginning. That's awesome. Thanks for the share, Rob. I appreciate that. That's a good share. Lovely. Okay, great. I want to ask you where you all I mean, I think I don't get to ask this question much of people. I mean, sometimes I think people have heard our stories or my stories about why we wanted to start creating content for the game, right? But like, why is it you all wanted to create content? And how long ago was it that you started, streaming or YouTube or Twitter or artwork or whatever it is that you do? Or did you even just move kind of platforms and stuff? Like, when did you start doing the stuff? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Sure.
So I started streaming because actually my guild had started raiding when raids just came out, and I wanted to be able to have a way to see how we were doing and see different ways how we can improve and stuff like that, because it was brand new. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. So my guild was like, you should stream, and then we can look at the VODs afterward. And it went from me streaming that to wanting to grow more into it, because I actually really enjoyed it. And I went from that to getting involved with Gamers Zooming Back, meeting Iron Maiden, meeting all these wonderful people. And then it just kind of blossomed from there, and then I just kept making artwork, and yeah.
That's lovely. That's great. That's a very unique place to come from, because we have a lot of art creators as well, but like you do both. Like you stream and you do art, and you also do art on your stream, but you also play the game, and you also do a lot of stuff with Iron as well, who's one of our partners. And a bunch of other folks. You've been on here a few times as well. Yeah, so you've been around. Yeah, and we met. Me and Malcolm met last year at the Arenanet party at PAX West. And if that's happening,
was so fun.
Oh, it was so good. It was.
I gotta come again this year. It was just a blast.
If they have it again, I would say, people go. I'm in Seattle, and I will be there. And Malcolm wants to go, so. Come here, come say hello. Do it.
I need to sell a kidney to make it.
Do it. Come, join us.
All right, I'll do it.
Yeah, bravo. Let's go.
Easy peasy. So I got him. Someone gonna say something?
I can go next if you want.
Sure.
All right, before you forget me.
I was just trying to make sure you don't get left out.
Yeah, I actually forgot it was you. You were here. Sorry.
Well, actually, I started streaming because I don't. So there were two reasons. I don't know if you've Merrick TV is a very wholesome content creator. He's very good, and he does raids. And we were friends, and he did a lot of raiding, and I always admired how wholesome and yet very good raider he was. So one day I had into the idea, but then my imposter syndrome was like, there's no way, you're too loud, you're too annoying, like all years of bullying coming back telling me I shouldn't do it. And that's the reason why I decided to do it. Like, I'm like, you know what? Poop it. I'm going to do it. And yeah, I started it. And also very early on, something happened in my life where it made me realize that there's not enough talk about mental health, and it's still a stigma. And I had just lost a friend, so I was like, you know what? I don't want to lose other friends, and maybe if we talk about it, like it'll be better for the world. So yeah, those are the reasons. Like maybe self-acceptance and accepting others for who they are, and also talking about mental health, which is a major problem in Australia. So yeah.
Awesome. Yes. You wanted to share all the things and the messages, and also that's how wanted to share how you kind of got connection when you felt isolated like yourself, right? So that's
yeah,
because really
it's so easy for people to say, yeah, you're too annoying, you're too loud. Like we're so mean with each other and with ourselves. So I kind of wanted to create a message and a community where it was more about empowering each other, which for some reason is so much harder in our world. And so yeah, I think we did that with the Raveling. So pretty cool.
It is difficult to, I think, in the world, especially when you get older, you start to realize that you really care a lot less about what people think about you. Yeah. It's definitely something that happens more with age. But when you can appreciate the fact that, especially in a community, and you can all just be ridiculous, but also respectful and inclusive at the same time, it's a challenge to kind of foster that kind of community, because there is a lot of not that online. Yeah. So it's absolutely that's awesome. Kiyoshi, how about you?
Actually the first time I streamed was in 2018, but my computer died after a month, so it kind of halted there.
Okay.
But yeah, I streamed my guild's first time into raiding, because I returned to the game in 2018 after a long hiatus,
right? And
made a bunch of friends on Guild Wars, and we all started raiding. There were 9 of us, brand new, and I started streaming it just more for fun, just because I don't know, I figured it'd be fun to stream it. But unfortunately the computer died, and when I finally got another computer up and running, I just never got back around to it. So I started streaming again, actually about 2 years ago.
Nice.
But it was mostly for fun. I mean, like a few friends were telling me I should. I didn't know if I should, but I just started doing it. I don't know. I don't have a ton to talk about
No,
what got
that's
me into
okay.
streaming. It was just
you just did
I
it because
just
your
wanted
friends
to
thought.
start streaming. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely fine. That's great. That's cool. Okay, Chef, how about you?
So I actually got started with doing like video editing and YouTube stuff before Twitch,
Mhm.
and I still kind of consider that to be my main like creating venue.
Sure.
Basically I was like working my way up, getting more serious about World versus World, like, you know, getting invested in the game mode, the community, the way that things work.
Mhm.
And I was doing some internal VOD reviews for the guild that I'm in, Knights of the Temple. And they were really useful. We would do them like an hour before reset. People would come in, we'd pick like a theme we wanted to talk about, like, you know, today we're going to look at Firebrand footage and we're going to talk about how to play Firebrand.
Mhm.
And it was a really nice time.
That's awesome.
And eventually I was like, you know, I should just like record these and edit them and like make them into videos, because I bet other people would find them useful too. And I couldn't find that content on YouTube. I could find like hour and a half on Guildhall recordings, which are useful, but like not everyone has an hour and a half to sit down and watch
that's
the
right.
montage.
That's right.
Or I'd find, you know, 5-minute montages with like no narration that didn't actually explain how anything was working.
Mhm.
And also a lot of the World versus World content, it's fairly, like, I'm not necessarily blaming anyone for this, is pretty negative about the game mode overall, because the game mode has really gone through some ups and downs in terms of the amount of attention it's received from Arenanet and
Sure.
overall balance changes. And I was like, I kind of want to change that discourse and be someone who talks about World versus World constructively and objectively and is like an information source rather than somebody who's like, ha, copium stream title.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I just like, I started doing that. And I think, you know, in a lot of ways, the community that I have, the people that watch me on Twitch and follow me on YouTube, are good validation that like people are interested in having those kinds of conversations and are looking for that sort of source for content.
And that's why you're all in the program. Like, he's just like so good. I love that mentality. You're right. Like, a lot of the content, you know, a lot of the World v World stuff is always those kind of, see those solo montages or like the big raids and stuff, and there's just music and everything else. And I'm like, yeah, that's really, really cool. But I would love to hear the ins and outs more about
Like,
World
how
v
do I
World.
do that?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, honestly, like with Yukiyoshi and Chef as well, like probably just have a World v World podcast on Lightbringers in future, thank God. And actually get people on who know what they're talking about. Like, that would be great. Like, have a good way of explaining things to people. That's really cool. Nice.
My experience with World v World has been kind of weird too. I actually thought it was a dead game mode for the majority of the game, because every
Sure.
time I went in, I just never saw anything.
Yeah.
Well, and everyone in team chat's like, dead game.
Yeah, dooming doesn't help.
No.
Dooming doesn't help
Yeah,
the game
well,
mode for sure. But yeah, I actually I played exclusively with my World v World guild that I joined a few years ago, and I just only did that for years.
Mhm.
And then I became friends with Mata, and Mata dragged me into just playing with some just random groups, and that's what kind of started me playing with more people than just my guild. Because before that, I never played World v World unless it was with that guild.
Yeah.
And now I just play all the time.
That's awesome.
Well, and it's so hard to get that exposure to different communities in World versus World. Like, for people who have never played World versus World before and are PvE mains, World versus World is the only place in the game where server still matters. The only people that you play with are the people who are on your server or who are on a server that's linked with yours if your server is linked.
Mhm.
So there's like 50 to 60% of the World versus World game mode are people who you never have an opportunity to interact with unless you have a second account, because it's not possible for big servers to get linked to one another.
Very true. Very true.
It's just like big
Yeah.
swaths of the community that are closed off, which is an unfortunate element of the design.
Cool.
What is really funny in terms of World v World, it's the content I do the least, and it's just because in living in Australia, it's often there's less population. Especially when I started, I was on NA servers before transferring to EU, and now I can do both. But it was
Yeah.
it was really like during my prime time, it was really dead, so I never did it. But I talked to a few hardcore World v World players, and it was so interesting because they log into the game and they go into World v World, and it feels like they don't know that there's any other type of content. Like, they don't know anything about like PV and stuff. It's so interesting to me and mind blowing that like that's you log, you press B or whatever your thing is to enter World v World, and that's it. Like it's so interesting.
Lovely. You're all answering these questions very well, by the way.
Yes. I feel like there's
Doing good, guys.
Top tier.
I feel like there's not a ton of overlap between like World v World and not World v World.
There's some people who do both, but
Yeah,
man,
for
people are
sure.
dedicated world versus world mains. Like I was telling you this when you asked me if I wanted to do like the fractal training run. I'm like, I haven't done a fractal in like 2.5 years. I've done them. Like I did CM98, CM99 at one point, but like the last time that I PvE'd before doing this podcast, when I just put map completion on in the background to get it done, was probably like 7 months ago, which is the last time that I showed up to my static group. And that's it. Like I only played world versus world.
Yeah.
Okay. What inspired you to apply to the partner program? Why did you? I think Chef kind of answered this in a way, but like you obviously can give another answer. But does anyone want to go first with this? Why is it you applied?
I can if you want.
Never. Sorry.
Oh, it was because of you, Jebro.
It was because of me. Oh, that's nice. Thanks.
It's because of a few partners, like you, Rook, Shariana.
Oh, literally.
Like I just,
Okay.
I love. No, yeah. I love. Well, first of all, you were super pro mental health, and I was like, oh heck yeah.
Terrible thing.
Rook is super pro inclusivity, so I was like, oh heck yeah. And Shay is just this wonderful person who is so caring. So I was like, you know what? And also like I kept helping. So I moved to EU because for my time zone, this is where like there was content, like there were more people to play with. And I started doing those raid trainings because a lot of people's like, oh, I really want Coalescence, so I really want the raid legendary armor, and I can't get it. I'll never get it. And that word never made me so sad. Like, when you really want something and you can't get it because of like, there's kind of like raids are a bit toxic and like this thing.
That's okay. We talk about that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to be like, well, let's do some raid training. And I started doing raid training on EU, and a few people were like, oh, can you come and help me on NA? And I'm like, I'd love to, but I don't have an NA account. And so I was like, and I heard about this as well. So I was like, I want to be able to transfer so that I can help people. And you can ask Mark, the first thing I did upon transferring is a Wing 6 with Kiyoshi. And if you know me, you know I don't like Wing 6. So Kiyoshi and I are not friends anymore. By the way, there's some beef here.
Nice.
And then
that run was super cursed.
it was bad. But then Mark told me that a few people needed Coalescence and a Wing 5. So I just came and helped them train a Wing 5. And within the hour, we had them starting on Coalescence. So it was really worth it.
I wanna add something to this though. Rava helped someone that didn't have gliding yet get her Wing 5 kill.
What?
Thank you for helping.
Oh my
anytime.
God.
We
Wait,
had
it
to
was you,
turtle them.
Malcolmist?
No.
Oh, what?
No. I had a friend who wanted to get, her husband wanted to get into raids, but he's still kind of new to the game, and he wanted to give it a try. And we're like, you know what, just come in. We're gonna give this a try. We trained him, we got him all the kills, and we managed to do the entire raid wing without him having a single mastery of gliding.
That's hilarious. That is
Yeah,
actually amazing.
everywhere.
That is amazing. Well, Malcolm, as soon as you're talking, how about you? What made you want to apply?
It's kind of like the same lines as Rava. I felt like the community was super inclusive, and it made me feel really safe at home because I am non-binary, and it made me feel safe to be in the community. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to continue harboring that inclusivity, and also just be a part of the community as a whole, and continue growing like the mental health awareness and all that kind of stuff. And I felt it was really important to just kind of keep doing that and keep helping it along, kind of. And I really wanted to be a part of it, as well as I also wanted to be able to go to EU, because there's a lot of people who are like, oh, are you on EU? Are you on NA or whatever? but I did want to help out where I could and just be there where I was needed. So
Nice. Awesome. Good stuff. Kiyoshi?
Somewhat similar. A lot of it was there's a lot of people asking for kind of the same thing because Malk and Rava and I all kind of stream a little different spread throughout the day, and there's plenty of people who will be like, hey, I want to join these trainings, but you're on NA. So the time's definitely kind of wonky. I actually made an account and I started leveling up, and then partner happened. I just haven't logged into it since. But also, I actually applied to partner the first time, like shortly after I started streaming, because I was like, well, I might as well, right? I don't know. Didn't really hear back, but to be fair, I was like brand new to streaming, kind of. I'd only been streaming for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then more recently, it was just, Chef got partner. I was like, oh, it's time. It's time to try.
Yeah, because I was in your DMs going like, hey, you should apply because I think you'll be better at this than I am.
Aw.
I don't know, better at this. I think you are more
Sorry.
like, I would like to get into video editing and stuff too. I've made like only 2 things and it's super stressful for me, but
I successfully bullied you into it. When I saw the short that you made, I was like, good, I'm inside his head. I'm utilizing my influence.
Amazing. That's important. It's important. That's a skill. How about you, Chef? You mentioned that you wanted to do some kind of spread the positive side of like World v World and the game mode and what you enjoy, but like, is that kind of the gist, or is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I kind of jumped ahead a bit because I didn't know that this would be further down the question tree. But
no, you're fine.
One of the things that I'll always say on stream, and it's a bit of an exaggeration, but it's also true, is that every time a new group starts playing World versus World, it's like the entire game mode gets a new raid boss, because it's another set of tactics for other people to learn, it's another set of fights for everyone to take part in. And so I've kind of always been to the philosophy that the more you can build the World versus World community and give people access to resources and information about how it works, what builds are good, how to approach things like, commanding for a group and being active in like a leadership role, the better off the game mode will be, because World versus World kind of lives and dies by the people who play it.
Yeah.
So that was my motivation for, like, I'm not going to say for me getting partner, because my initial thrust was like, I'm going to watch the people who I like who play World versus World, and I'm going to be like, you guys should like apply for the partner program because there's a lot of lift that you could perform. And I went to Kiyoshi, and Kiyoshi's like, my viewers told me it's not really worth it. I went to Nova, he's like, I'm not really interested in that. I went to Indo, he's like, I'm not really interested in that. I was like, okay, like, fine, I've gone to everyone bigger than me, I'll just do it myself. So I applied, I was like, this is my plan, these are the things that I do, these are the things that I want to do with it, and I think that would be a valuable resource, and then I just, applied every couple months.
Nice.
So to be fair, that not really worth it was more of I kept hearing of like people saying that they keep applying and they just aren't hearing back. So I was like, I don't know, maybe it's just not, no one's really getting in. I haven't heard of anyone making partner for a while. So
which to be fair was true for a very long time.
Yes. Yeah.
Before I even started applying, that was true.
Yeah, there was already a lot of folks, and they like you said, you kind of get if anyone applied at the time, it was like, and maybe even now, like they've had a general reply of like the whole program's being reworked, they're looking at things and trying to rejig stuff, and also people who applied ages ago probably aren't streaming the game anymore, so like trying to get fresher apps in and whatnot as well.
That reply that you get, hey, we're reworking and stuff, like that made my day. Like I was like, oh, a good answer. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's much better than a no.
Yeah.
Well, nothing.
It has a complicated interpretation in World versus World, though, because like World versus World has been told that they're going to be getting alliances any day now since like 2017. So that particular sector of the community is kind of conditioned to be like, just because Arenanet says something's going to happen doesn't actually mean that it'll happen. And that, like, I approach content creation with like a positive, constructive, and rational mindset of like what people say is what they mean. But I definitely caught myself thinking at times like, oh, the response that I got about the partner program is oddly similar to the responses that we've gotten for like the last years about the alliances system and restructuring and all this. So like, I'm not really going to get my hopes up about it, but it doesn't cost you anything to, you know, put your name in the hat every once in a while and be like, hey, I'd like to do this thing. And, you know, if you're ever ready to do that, let me know. If
you don't try, you will never know. If you
exactly
like, with anything, like with job applications, even if you think like you're not qualified, just apply anyway. Just you never know, they may like you enough to just get you in. And like you said, you know, like there are probably big channels that don't get asked to be partners because they're just not creating the kind of right ethos for what Arenanet want or other people want, for sure. It's always awesome. Okay. I was going to ask this question. I'm not really sure. I think maybe we've kind of answered this one already. What excites you the most about being an Arenanet partner? That makes sense. So like, is it, and it can be even if it's just, I get to just switch servers. That's okay. Because for a lot of people, it's like, I get to create content on different servers. That's cool. That's good.
Definitely that, but like for me, it's like being able to be partnered with a game that has so much positivity and reach, and it's just like, you know what I mean? It's so cool. Like there's so much. It's so inclusive. Like. And it's so positive, and the community is so positive, and to know that you're repping this and helping this wonderful game, like, it's just cool. Like, it's just, and I'm sure Mark feels the same, because Mark and I, like, you know, obviously we're part of a community that is quite like bullied in the world, and to know that the game that you're part of will always back you up for who you are is just cool.
Right, and it makes me feel safe, and that's probably why I play it so much, is because I feel safe here. So
nice. Does anyone else want to answer that question as well? Solid.
Yeah, I don't have like the latter half of what, you know, Raba and Malk were saying, but the first part, like big time, like being a part of a game that I really enjoy and care about the community and stuff is really, really cool. It was really exciting. Just being a part of it, being a partner.
Yeah. It's like that kind of, it's like a validation of effort to a degree as well. I'm not saying like if you don't get into program, like, you know, it doesn't mean they don't appreciate your effort, but like, you know, it's that kind of like, oh, they kind of, it feels good, right? Like it just feels good to be recognized as someone that create, and like, and it's not even just, it's the creator, of course, but like the community that kind of you've created, because it's not just you, it's the everything you've kind of built around yourself as well, which is very cool. Chef,
I mean, I think this is like the third time I've probably covered it, but the ability to move where I please and play with different groups is definitely like the main draw by a pretty wide margin. And for people who don't play World versus World that often, but like, you know, maybe you've seen videos of it or something like that, and you're like, wow, it's just like a guy shouting to cast your skills all the time. It's not. That's like 10% of your World versus World experience, and the other 90% is you like wandering around looking for people to fight and telling stories and like sharing banter and like, oh, you remember so-and-so guild from like, you know, 6 years ago, or man, you remember like so-and-so commander when he did that one thing. And it's just like a bunch of people who are nostalgic for other times that they played the game mode with other people. And so I've always wanted to experience those stories for myself and just hang out in those places and hear these different people talk about what the game mode was like for them. Yeah. And then have that as an avenue to share those stories with other people who either aren't on those servers or just don't play World versus World at all, but like want to get some exposure to the game mode. And the only way you could conceivably do that is either like have an account for every server or be a partner.
Awesome. Cool. Good times. Okay. So being a partner, or actually, no, it's not really specific to being a partner, but and this kind of goes to the creative questions, and I'm going to ask you some specific, more like game kind of fun questions. But what kind of challenges do you face being like creators of content, or just being maybe for specific? It doesn't have to be specific for Guild Wars 2, but for what you actually do, like, you know, whether it be Twitch or YouTube or the art or just creating a community, or what have been some challenges for you in the past? How have you kind of navigated these things, and what things do you find, you know, you like to think that you could grow, maybe areas you could grow in, and yeah, I don't know, some general stuff.
It's super overwhelming to try and balance full-time work and streaming. Honestly, like, it's exhausting. And it makes me sad because I obviously have to do my real life job, but I also really want to stream, and often streaming takes a toll from it, like personally. And I think it's also numbers. Like, even if you say numbers don't matter, like, don't look at your numbers, because it's in our world, right? We're run by metrics. So it's so hard, even if you try your best to be like, numbers don't matter. At the end of the day, it still takes a toll on you. And I think that's really hard to overcome.
So that's something you're maybe looking at to kind of think about more, like maybe the number mattering less than, maybe that's an area you can...
Yeah, definitely. And we had a chat together, Jebro, in the DMs, where you've helped me a lot, where you were like, you know what, and I turned off everything and I don't try to like look at my metrics. And it's been really good. But it's still something because, you know, you're always comparing yourself.
I'm still there like sometimes, but most of the time now it takes a while, and then you're just like, you know, what is my true goal of streaming and doing this? Like, is it to have a bunch of viewers and they come in just for like some random experience, or do I want to cultivate like a community which feels tight and inclusive, and like actually call it a lot of these people my mates and like people I connect with in real life sometimes? And you know, it really depends. Like, if it's your full-time gig, then it's, and that's your job, then it's completely different. You know. But it is a hard balance for sure.
And like you said, like, for example, I was watching you play Lord's Manor last week, and like, you know, it's so awesome because you just like have those really awesome conversation with your chat, and it's really like, you know, it's refreshing for the soul. And I feel the same way, like, you know, when like, and that's why whenever I do raid resets every Monday, and I love it because I get to play with friends, but at the same time I like it less because I'm the commander and I need to make sure that everyone's okay and I can't keep up with the chat. And so that's why I kind of prefer when it's like low key and I can have really awesome conversation where we talk about like MS or stuff like this. So that's what I try, and that's what you reminded me in the DMs. You're like, focus on like those wholesome moments, and that's what I do now whenever like the numbers come into my head.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, if anyone wants to know our conversation last week when we were playing Manor Lords in the medieval city builder was microaggressions.
By the way, really good game.
Oh, it's so good. We were talking about microaggressions and racism. It was like just a casual topic. I
didn't know if I could say it, so I'll just
fine.
let him say it.
No, you're good. I'm a therapist as well. Most people hopefully know that by now, so I'm really good at those. Those conversations are still, but they're challenging to have with like a group of people when you're all kind of in different spots. And also, I think it's Mental Health Awareness Month. Just as a side comment, this is May, so like, you know. Happy that. And also talk to people if you're not heard from someone for a while and you feel like people are isolating, talk to them, reach out to them, say hello, drop them a cup of tea. You don't have to fix their problems, but they appreciate you nipping around and cooking them dinner probably. Like, you don't have to fix everything for them. Malcolmist, how about you? Do you remember the question? Because I can't.
I think the toughest thing for me was definitely along the mental health part of it, and the motivations behind like wanting to continue and wanting to keep streaming and wanting to be there every single day. And for a while there, like I was having a lot of mental health crises, especially with my own traumas and stuff like that. And for a while, it was really tough to get through the days, but I had to keep going forward because I really wanted to see, like I always want to see people happy. I always want to be there for people. I will always want to be someone that can give other people happiness. That's just always how I've been. And so I feel like streaming has provided that for me in a way, because I love being able to be there for people. I love being able to give back to people. I love being able to do the charity streams that I do, but at the same time, it does take a lot out of you because you have to be there every day. You have to be happy every day, even if you're not happy. And there's a lot of different things you have to do as a content creator or even just a streamer, where you just have to be that face for everybody else. But at the same time, if you're struggling, then you can't really show that. But at the same time, it's like you just have to keep going day by day, and it can be hard, but at the same time, it's the most important thing is just keep that foot moving forward. And I think that's what got me through it.
I think you've shared sometimes when you haven't felt happy though on stream or on Twitter and everything, and people appreciate that kind of genuineness as well.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be happy. I would encourage you to not force yourself to be happy on stream if you're not feeling happy. You know, and you've got that community where you can be honest with them as well, and I think you do that. I've witnessed that.
Everyone's really, really nice, and I really do appreciate everyone's like kindness and help with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I literally cried during the celebration stream. I think it was on Tuesday, and it's just.
I'm glad you fit that. You must cry all the time.
It's just like everyone's just so supportive. Everyone's so incredible. I have so many wonderful friends, and it's just amazing. And while I don't like feeling vulnerable, especially to my friends or to like the internet or whatever, it is just amazing to be able to, hey, I don't feel good, and then having someone there to be like, hey, it's okay. It's okay to feel these things, but we got this. Let's keep going, kind of thing. And so I really do appreciate everybody being there and being awesome. So
lovely.
You're awesome.
No, you.
God, there's so much wholesomeness on this podcast.
I mean, you invited Mark and myself. We literally love each other.
It's always wholesome. It's gross. It's great. Kiyoshi, how about you?
Struggles.
Or challenges,
kind of
or even like continuing to move forward.
Super. What is the word? Oh. Awkward for a streamer person maybe, but I actually kind of hate being a center of attention, but in order to do the things I want to do, I kind of have to be somewhat popular.
Yeah.
It's like commanding, I dread, but I do it for things because I know people want to get things done.
That's interesting.
But
Kiyoshi secretly likes to like whip people around into shape, you know.
Oh god. Well, the worst part about commanding thing is because like sometimes you have to be the bad guy almost to somebody if like like sometimes like, look, I don't want to remove people, but I'm also worrying about 8 other people's, time as well. It's something I think I struggle with. So sometimes I feel like maybe I'm too lenient with things and then kind of drag people down sometimes because like, I don't want to remove people from things.
Yeah. It's a difficult situation. Like you don't want to be, but at the same time, if it's not moving along, like, you have to make the tough choice. It's hard. I get you.
I also suffer from like, something I always really admired from like Teapot and stuff is like, he's got content brain. I don't have that. I wish I had a little bit of that.
Content what?
Is like content brain. He sees something, he's like, this is content. I can do something with this. So I don't really have that idea so much.
You do what you do very well.
Yeah, I guess. But it's something I admire. I wish I had a little bit more.
Okay.
I mean, you can learn.
Yeah, it's all a learning progress. He's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
A long time. Someone else who is even newer, I would say probably ridiculous, is Muckluck as well. He's pretty good at that.
Muckluck as well, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Chef, how about you?
I think Rava definitely covered one of my big ones, which is time management. Like I'm trying to I'm doing the insane thing of trying to finish a PhD and also like get married and also be a content creator at the same time.
And get married? Holy moly.
I have about 12 hours a week that I spend on content, and realistically I'd like to get that to around 20 to finish all the things that I'd actually like to do in terms of the things that I produce. But I think Rava covered that really well. The other one that I kind of struggle with is making things that people will like. Like I was doing this last night. I was working on a video and I was like, I really don't like the way this video is coming together. I feel like I'm just telling people things that they know already. I don't think this is going to do very well. Okay. And lo and behold, I refresh my YouTube Studio page this morning, and it's like second best performing video of all time, 7 comments. Reddit post has like 40 upvotes, and it's like, okay, actually that one did really well. And then I'll have other videos and ideas where I'm like, this is going to be super useful. I can't wait to see people's response to this, and then it just dies on the vine, and I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know the variables to manipulate to get this video to do what I expected it to do. But I think I've like kind of started to come to terms with that, where I'm like, I might not feel positively about this video, but I'm just going to ship it because like I'm not really in control of reception anyway. The people can make their own meaning out of it if they want.
So many people. It's just especially on YouTube. I've got a lot of experience in this. I started a YouTube channel a long time ago. That's why I started, and I did really well for a long time. And it would always be those videos where I spent the least effort on, or it would be a clip from a stream, and then you'd just be like, oh yeah, that's a highlight. 5 minutes later, and then like spend weeks editing every fine
3
moment.
versions of it.
Yeah,
like,
and then
like
you're like,
this transition.
This is gonna be such a good video, and I'm still really proud. I think like being proud of those moments is really important, and like being like, I actually just really enjoyed creating this. And at the same time, yeah, it sucks about that it didn't get the views I wanted, and that kind of, and that's annoying, but. It doesn't take away from from your own feelings and the work that you put in, how proud you are. But I absolutely feel that. Like I started like on the side like a Marvel Snap channel because I flipping love that game, and I barely promoted a couple of times on my main Twitter. Like other than that, I'm just trying to see how it all works, and I'm just like, why? Like, what is this title? This title has got nothing to do with the game, and for some reason, it's just. Yeah, I changed it the next day, didn't change anything else, and suddenly it'll blow up, and it'd just be like for no reason. And it might even just be because it was a different hour of the day, or it might have the in it instead of and it might be like best wasn't there, but it is now. And then all of a sudden it's like best bit. Oh right, yeah, God, not one of those.
So you've probably also had the experience where like you have Photoshop or GIMP open, and you're trying to think of an idea for a thumbnail, and your mind is just empty, and you're like, oh frick, what am I gonna do?
Yes,
it's rough sometimes.
So
that's a big struggle for me for sure.
That is tough. I've definitely learned more about creating. There's lots of good content out there around creating thumbnails as well and stuff. I'm getting quite good with my thumbnails, especially because it's all Marvel as well. So I get to research characters and like lines, and then I just add like a quote or something. And it was. It's always fun. It's about I like to turn everything into fun. Otherwise, it will not happen. Because I have ADHD.
Are you still in chat, Hells? Because like I went to go play with CO last week, which Hells is one of the commanders for, and one of the first things they said to me when I got into comms was like, "Oh, the thumbnail on your last video is interesting." And I think I've actually like never been more personally attacked by a comment ever, because like you could tell it was in a patronizing way. I'm upset that somebody in that guild soul read me so hard that they're like, I know what the secret weakness of a content creator is.
Oh,
and I'm gonna rip that scab off.
No.
Let me judge your. They're great. They're good. What are you talking about? They're like
they're fine.
They're good. Yeah, it's got all the title and the wording there. You've got like I like the Moa one. It's very good. Yeah, you've like
I'm proud of. That was one where I was working on it and I was laughing to myself because I'm like, this is a good thumbnail, man. I'm so excited about this one.
This is good. Absolutely. Well, all your channels are going to be available in the description below this video on YouTube, and you should be able to see it on Spotify and everything else. But otherwise, you can go to the YouTube channel and you can find their links for all their channels. You can go and check out. I won't show you because now you can just go to their channels and actually find out. Did I go for everyone for the challenges? No one said anything, so we're good.
I was looking at Chef's thumbnails. They're actually really nice.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh no!
What are you talking about?
You might hate this comment, Chef.
Look, the thing that
hate
Yoshi
this,
said
Chef.
about not liking to be the center of attention, I also feel that so strongly.
Chef, you might hate this, but I'm just gonna do it because it's funny. You see the one, everything you need to know about Hollow? I totally thought he was holding a fishing pole. I was like, is this a fishing?
No.
Is this a fishing video?
Did you notice that I forgot to do the glow outline for the Reaper on everything you need for Reaper, and it doesn't match with the other ones, so we have to go back and fix it later? Like, it's, oh, man.
Perfectionism right there.
YouTube's
Also-
one of those things where I've been trying to mess with, and it's super stressful to me because it's like I have kind of an idea, but I don't know how to put it together in a way where I'm happy with it.
Yeah. It's
That is a skill you learn after time.
Yeah.
And then, being happy with it is, that can be also your own journey as well, I would say. And depending on how supportive folks are, because that is when you get to the point where people can comment on your stuff, and a majority of creators, no matter how experienced they are, will focus on the one person that says one thing which might be able to be taken in a bad way, even if they meant it in a good way, and spin it into I am a failure and this was bad, and then there'll be 50,000 comments saying that this is an amazing video. So I would say just focus on the positive comments. Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm being called out by one of my mods right now. I still do
Jebro.
that. I still do that, but now I just on my comments, I just say, well, you know what to do if you don't like it, you can F off. And I'll just say that in my comments now. I'm just like, why did you really spend too much effort on your reply? Because, why?
So my insane creator strategy that I used when I first started, and unfortunately I've built a community now that's
I've
too
heard-
wholesome, so I
told
don't
me
get to
about
do this
this.
anymore.
I know.
When I was
where
first
this is
starting,
going.
when I was first starting, I attracted negative attention to myself because I was a new content creator, and so you're
Sure.
inherently a target for bullying. So I get the comments on YouTube that are like, this is a bad build. It's crazy to see what people think is actually a good Firebrand build these days. And because I do have that sarcasm bent in me, that little bit of dry sarcastic humor, I was like, what'd be funny is to take this guy's comment and pin it, so that it's the first person that anyone sees when they look at this video, and they're like, oh my god, look at how rude this random stranger on the internet is being to a video that's okay. But it hasn't happened, and this is not an invitation for people in chat to make me feel good about something I used to do, but it hasn't happened in a year or so because I built a community that's too wholesome and they don't say mean things anymore.
That's
Or
hilarious.
maybe it worked.
Or maybe it worked.
I was
and they all
gonna
got
say,
driven away.
maybe
It's
you
either fine, honestly.
we will
That's
make an
true.
example of this person. And they will be taught.
It's also super hard to make content. I literally,
idea.
before I got into this podcast this morning, I received a comment on a YouTube video that I made so long ago about fractal skips, right? It was just to help people. Everybody likes to do fractal skips. It makes them look cool in front of their friends and stuff. And this person wrote a comment that was a bit salty, saying, well, I want to enjoy the whole content. I don't understand why we push skips. It's there's not everybody shares the same viewpoint, and it doesn't mean that I don't know, it's so hard sometimes because so many people have different opinions, right? It's just you can't please everyone.
It's not. And skipping is just a normal thing that people do in any games. It's not it's not a exploit or anything like that. It's just one of those things you can do.
There are some, but
I mean,
you see people do, and it's
no.
shame,
it's okay.
I promise you, my videos has no exploit. Just me.
Yeah. I just mean in general, because occasionally, yeah. Oh no,
I never do it.
It's occasionally one of those things where you're doing fractals and you see someone do something, you're like, oh, well, what are they doing?
Me not doing fractals though, most of the stuff that people do in fractals, I'm like, I don't know that that's allowed. The Sun Spear one, the one where you jump up the wall with the charge, that to me is to just go the right way. I can't draw the line between that.
So,
but I'm not a
if you
PvP so
the weird part about that skip is that over the past 5-6 years, is the skips that have been found have changed a lot.
Okay.
They keep moving, and people found a way to skip over this wall with the special action. Oh, you can go from this direction instead with the special action. It's a little faster. I can go around this way, and now everyone kind of goes the same way, and it's probably the fastest way now. It's really interesting to see all of the options kind of pop up and disappear as people find better ones.
Nice. Okay. A Guild Wars 2 specific question. We're going to start wrapping up as well in a bit. Well, actually, this may take a while. What is your favorite class? in Guild Wars 2. Tell us why you like playing the class you play the most on stream or in your own time, or and it's not like, well, that is the best class, but what is your favorite class? What do you play? It's going to say a lot about you. Just saying.
I don't have a good answer for a lot of it.
It's warrior.
Kyoshi,
we all know you're warrior,
of his
mate.
time on warrior.
Play
and
warrior.
The reason is the problem, the thing. I think, knowing myself, whatever class I picked first would have been my main. It just how I went.
Okay.
And it happened to be warrior.
Is it like a stubborn thing?
I have this thing where, I start something and if I love it, I just love it. And it doesn't go away.
Right.
It doesn't like wane over time. It's like I have like 20,000 hours on warrior.
So warrior then. Yeah, is it core warrior?
Yeah.
Like what spec do you like?
I mean, I played a lot of core warrior, but as soon as I came back and elite specs exist now, I don't really like core warrior.
What do you play the most?
I think my favorite currently is both Power and Condi Berserker. I used to love Bladesworn, but the current rotation of Bladesworn is not fun, and pretty much every Bladesworn player I know says that, unfortunately. Okay. Yeah.
Fair enough. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. We have another warrior main in this podcast.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm on the warrior train. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that if it's your favorite. That's the question.
I mean,
okay.
call that. Kidding.
Why?
I love my warrior mainly because, well, for the first part, like he was my second character of all time, so I created him like the year the game came out, and so I kind of have like a drawn to him because he's been just my go-to character for the longest time, besides my ranger that I started with. But I decided to go with my warrior just because it was more fun. I have grown from Berserker to, I tried a little bit of Bladesworn, but I went from Berserker to Spellbreaker, and I've been hooked on Spellbreaker ever since. I love Spellbreaker, especially because it's like it feels like almost like a heavy armor rogue kind of, and I just love the utility of it. In fact, last night I learned for the first time how to do Deem 1 kiting with my Spellbreaker, and it was amazing. I loved it. So it's like it's so amazing to be able to play it. It feels really, really good. I love the rotation. I love being able to bonk things with hammers, and it just feels really good. So I've been stuck on it ever since.
Nice. Fine reasons. Okay. How about you, Chef?
So I am kind of in the same boat as Kyoshi, where I started by playing Necromancer,
Jesus
and it's
Christ.
still my favorite.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say warrior as well. I was like, Jesus Christ.
No. The
Chef
weird
plays
part
a
is
lot of
I
warrior.
command on warrior, and I could answer warrior because like staff makes me feel really good inside.
Yeah, I like that.
It's just such a fun weapon for commanding.
Be careful about
But like
wording there.
I started on
that
Necro. I enjoy Necro the most, and also Greatsword 5 makes me feel good inside. So
one.
it's kind of like a win-win.
Okay. So Necro over warrior or both?
Necro, like, so my framing of like what's my favorite profession is if I show up on Friday and Ruthless or Herrick say you can bring whatever you want tonight, the comp doesn't need anything, what profession am I bringing? I'm bringing Necro like 90% of the time. So I think that means it's my favorite by like definition.
What spec is it though?
Reaper or Support Scourge if we need it for the comp.
Sure. Lovely. Excellent. Rava, how about you?
So for me, there's a ping issue. I play from Australia, so I have 350 ping. So I don't like, and my main content is very meta gated, especially in the past. Now, by the way, just a little off topic. Jebro has done such a fantastic job on increasing the meta by allowing classes to pretty much do everything. So now we're not stuck with like 2 druids, 2 chrono, and then just DPS, which I think is so cool. And I love this because it's so much more accessible for people, but it's definitely support. And druid, I think I'm pretty well known for my druid. Like, I just love it because, you know, I'm a medical scientist in real life, so I'm a healer in the game. But yeah, definitely any kind of like healing support I can play. But if you ask me to play DPS, just don't expect much.
Then plays DPS.
And Warrior, I know nothing about. Like, I never know which
Darn
spec
it.
does what. And like, Blade Sword seems the same as the other one. That is, I would not go. I'm sorry.
It's getting awkward now. Like, yeah, people are just like getting their pitchforks ready. No one said engineer, so you're all fired. Never, you're not coming back. So.
No. If it makes you feel any better, I really miss Shift.
Kind of crazy though.
The new support NG? What's the new support
In
NG?
it's really fun. It's got like a really high skill cap, but it's very rewarding to play. It's a good one.
What is it?
Yeah.
Can you link it to me?
World.
Short bow with like a bunch of kits.
Oh,
So you're
that's what I
constantly
play.
rotating between kits. You're constantly blasting gyros. You're constantly using short bow skills. Like it's super active.
Yeah,
But when you chain your stuff together, because like everything is combo fields and blasts,
yeah.
when you get everything to link up,
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been playing. I wonder if it's the build I play. That would be cool.
It could be. I've got in fact, I have a video on it.
You do?
Funnily enough.
Let me just find it.
Yeah, it's called Everything You Need to Play Support Scrapper in World vs. World. Came out like a month ago.
Oh, crap. Yeah, I run those utilities. Am I already running it? That would feel good. Let me just
He's
check.
doing it already.
Come on. Oh,
I
wow,
do
this
miss
is
that
a
shit
quality video. Look at this. You got all the things like, you know, on screen, the abilities you're talking about. I love this. This is really good. Yes. And you're explaining the rotation. And you've got, I'm talking about barrier, using your Condi clears blast field. This is solid. Look at this.
Is that the build that you run? Or are you secretly a World
Oh, no.
vs. World?
I'm just looking at the video.
Okay.
I used to, so I play World v World, but I used to lead a guild in World v World in the EU and Aurora Glade in the first year. So I used to play Realm versus Realm games like Warhammer Online, Dark Age of Camelot, Elder Scrolls Online, like Cyrodiil, loads of stuff. And I was a PvP commentator for years, back in the day when we had like Pro League and stuff. So PvP and World v World was like primarily what I did. And I moved to PvP, and then didn't play World v World as much because I like more of the skill of the one-on-one and just, you know, the tactics of that. But then, you know, I kind of dip in a little bit more here and there because I had like the Rush event and I was like, oh, this is fun. And I like playing support builds as well. And I just like shortbow. And I was like, an engineer shortbow, I have to make this work. I don't care. It's going to work. And I just started commanding with it a little bit here and there. Not much. No one knows that I do that. So I just do it a little bit on stream from time to time. So it's nice. I'm keeping that. The reason I was getting joyful about it is because the video has a lot of detail on it that I would love to actually engage with. So nice. That's very cool. Okay, I'm looking forward to watching that. I might link that in the comments. Anyway,
Please, let's talk about Kyoshi instead. I'm getting drunk.
wait,
I think Chef's great.
yeah, there you go. No, you're all good. Like
I'm disconnecting.
Like, look at Chef's videos. Like,
I'm breaking up.
yeah, I
You guys still
never
hear me?
would have thought to like add these, like, you know, talking about the short bow, having a picture of a short bow and the skill and the weapon definition of the skill you're going to be using. You know, it's like I don't think about that stuff.
oh my god,
Oh no,
you are
my
now
webcam
an alchemist when you turned your camera on.
Let's actually break it. I'll turn it back on. Sorry.
It's funny that
I'm back,
everything
I'm
else
good.
staying the
It's
same,
fixed.
and that's okay.
I'm an imposter.
I'm a copy paster. Okay, we are. Let me see. The question after that, we've covered like many times. I think that would just be going over something else again. As the last kind of thing, and thank you everyone for coming on as well. It's been awesome to have you here. If someone wants to create content for Guild Wars 2 or whatever, or they even want to apply to maybe being in the partner program in future, what kind of advice would you give to like new creators maybe, or to anyone that maybe that's already a creator that kind of wants to further what they do, or they want to apply to the Arenanet Partner program? Like, what kind of advice would you give them? And anyone, feel free to begin. Or if you don't have any advice, just say, you know, no.
Hey,
Don't be toxic. Sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
go for it, Chef.
No, go ahead.
No. Oh yeah, just be yourself, but don't be toxic. I know I've said this before, but the world is not in a great state right now. So just try and bring some nice vibes into content and fight for what feels right to you as well. Like just talk about the things that passionate you and to try and make the world a little better place with your own light type of thing, if that makes sense. Yes, that's pretty much it.
Cool.
I agree.
I was going to say to have a.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. No, it's fine. I'll go last. No, go ahead.
All right. I would just say just keep going. The biggest thing is like motivation is definitely key because as anyone can tell you, just keeping motivated is probably the hardest thing about content creation, and just keep going. And it might feel like it's slow or you might not see the progress that you want to see, but as time goes on, it will keep going and keep growing and keep growing. Just take it day by day and do what you can to keep going, and as long as you keep that foot going forward, it'll be the best thing ever.
Nice. Love it. Okay. Yoshi, you said yes to Rava.
Yeah.
Was that your
more
entire
just-
response?
Well, just on the side of like, do what you're passionate about more, right? Like, if I just sat there streaming, I don't know, me trying to command in World of Your World all day, I think I wouldn't have a great time, even though it might do well. Like, I'm personally someone who tries to avoid doing things that'll burn me out in most things, like
Sure.
in Guild Wars and for streaming too. Because like, I think one of the only reasons I can stream as much as I do is because I avoid doing things that I hate doing.
That is very true and very, very applicable to streaming. Do not stream and create content that you do not enjoy creating, because people cannot connect with it. And it's just because you might be doing something just because it's like gonna get some clicks and stuff. But at the end of the day, like, not being proud of some of the stuff you put out there, it doesn't feel good. Yeah.
Is this why you're doing embodiment of sin tonight instead of coming to reset? Be honest.
Don't insult you about that, Chef.
I'm doing embodiment
Because you don't want to come
my
to reset?
static is forming, and one of the only days they could do is Fridays.
Okay, I'll take it for
Can I just say that we had like a little fight between those two pre-podcast because Kyoshi's ditching Chef, and it's quite funny.
Kiyoshi and I normally play in the same World versus World guild on some nights, except for tonight because he has more important obligations. But I'm not like upset about it.
Again, wow.
I'm really happy for him, actually. I think he's doing great.
Chef sarcasm is just doesn't really exist.
I love it.
Does not really here. Like, I mean, I'm never, I
Sorry,
genuinely.
it's the World versus World main in me. We're combative sometimes, but we have fun here.
Well,
Something else
go on, Malcolm. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say something else I wanted to add too is just create a community, because I have found so many wonderful friends through streaming, and having people there to play games with, and having people there just to be able to be supportive and stuff like that, and even just like creating a guild in Guild Wars 2 and just kind of growing yourself a little community, and being that part of a community is just the soul that I've found in Guild Wars 2 that has been the number one motivation for me to keep playing. I feel it's just the social aspect of a guild is amazing. So just create a community and flourish it.
Yeah, awesome. Love that addition. Jeff,
I was just gonna. Everyone else has covered some really good points. But
keep coming
mine
to
is gonna
Chef
be-
last. I feel like Chef gets the short
I
end
get
of
to
the
wait
stick
and see
here.
what everyone else says, and then I can come in with like the.
Oh
the
wait,
great
that's
point.
good. That's a good thing. All right.
Yeah.
I should start with you. maybe.
So I was gonna say, like, be realistic with your expectations. Like, my advice for streaming is actually really similar to my advice for commanding in World versus World, which is try it and see if you like it, but it's okay if you don't. And just like be realistic about what streaming is going to do for you. Some people are not going to make money off of Twitch. The vast majority of people are not going to make significant money off of Twitch.
Yeah.
So if you're approaching it as I'm going to turn this into a career, I think you're going to have similar experiences to like playing varsity sports in college and thinking you're going to get drafted by the NBA. You kind of have to do it because it's fundamentally fun for you and you're enjoying it, rather than I'm hoping to derive like financial gain out of this.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you don't like streaming, but you won't know if you like streaming and doing content creation unless you've actually given it a fair shot, and you might have something really valuable to contribute if you sit down and try it.
Exactly.
Very true. Very true. Absolutely. Yeah. Knowing your
And can I
goals
just
is
say-
important.
Oh, sorry.
Go
But
on.
yeah, like be yourself. Like there's one thing. Every time I open a stream that's World v World, I always got really stressed out because like this is my like commanders for me. That's what they do. Stack, and it's so stressful. And then you open Chef stream and I'm like, oh gosh, he's doing World v World. Here we go. And he has he commands, but it's sorry, Chef. I know you don't like the
No,
spotlight on
it's
you.
fine. Go ahead.
It's really nice and mellow, and and that's because he's being himself. Like, you know, it's fantastic. Or Mark will spend their time reading chat and being really responsive to every message that people that people answer, and they're so caring, and you just feel at home when you're in their stream. And Kiyoshi does the same thing. Plus Kiyoshi has this thing where he does all types of contents, and I think that the message here is just be yourself, because you bring really good things on the table.
Yeah, fortunately for me, I don't feel the need to censor myself for anything because I'm not worried about saying things that are gonna, you know.
Yeah.
Luckily, because I know there are people who do. Because, you know, sometimes people get a little toxic outside of their stuff, but I don't feel like it. I feel like I can just be me, so I'm happy that I don't have to really worry about that.
You are just not toxic anyway. So like,
Yeah.
like you don't create that kind of thing.
I get toxic when people are being toxic, kind of like when someone's being toxic to somebody, I'll be like, hey man, you're not
Yeah.
doing so well yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I get it. I'm the
I've
same.
seen it happen. It's ugly.
Yeah.
I have this
not that
problem of
bad.
if I'm ever mean to anyone, I immediately apologize, even if I'm teasing them.
Mark can't be mean. Like, yeah, well, never mind.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, chat. If you have any last questions, let us know. But we're probably gonna wind down around all of that. It was awesome. Thank you so much for all coming on. I appreciate that. That was a really nice little chat. It's good to have a bunch of different folks on here as well. Gives you a break from all the other
Thanks for
people.
having us. This was
Absolutely.
an
Yeah, honestly,
invitation that
thank
you
you.
set up for all of us, so we should be thanking you for
Yeah.
the
Oh
opportunity.
no!
Thank you
of
very
course.
much.
Of course, yeah. It's good to get all of, I think, new folks together that may not have those kinds of conversations as well. So like it's a bit like networking, you know, all the new people get them together, and you're like, you know, because I was one of the first partners, so I'm like one of the like older folks in the program, not literally just age, but like, you know, it's been years, it's been a long time. Like, oh god, but oh, my shoulders and my back, my knee, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, but yeah, so it's nice to know. What I really enjoy is the fact that we have this this movement in the partner program as well, of bringing in people who, it's not just about the numbers, it's about the essence of the creators and the positive things they can do for the community, and also just spreading a good word about the game. Because I think, you know, there's a lot of there is content creators in our directory and other places, and this is my take that I'm not massive fans of, that can be fairly toxic and jaded about the game, and they can spread that, and it can you know, it's not the most fun thing to witness in the world, and it's very unfortunate. So the more people we have that just enjoy the game for what it is, and you know, that's the most important thing. The reason why the game is still around now, it's not a AAA studio producing an MMORPG. That's not really, they aren't a AAA studio, and they're still here doing it. So the game is doing well for a good reason. And the reason is because we've got a wicked community of people and good creators doing all the things they do. Also, shout out to Jen in the chat, who's like here. I'm assuming it's
Thanks,
Jen.
Jen!
And
Thank you,
getting all these
Jen.
awesome people in the partner
You
program
made our
and sorting it
year.
out and doing all
Like,
the things. And
Literally.
yeah,
I have
exactly.
a question. I have a question for Chef. Whenever you submit your thesis and get your PhD, let me know what made you happier, submitting your thesis or getting Arenanet Partner. Because for me, it was Arenanet Partner.
Oh my God. It was better than
I've
getting your
been a PhD student for too long to be like, oh, Partner was better than putting this chapter of my life behind me.
I was telling my mom about it. I'm like, Mom, to her Arenanet Partner, and she's like, what? To what? Huh? To your little game? I'm like, it's not a little game.
Little game. Oh God, don't call it that, Mum.
That's also how the conversation with my mom went. And I was like, I'm an Arenanet Partner. She's like, cool. What's Arenanet and what's a partner?
I didn't tell anyone in my family.
Oh my
I didn't want
God.
to deal with that conversation.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh God.
My wife actually told my mom before I did, because I didn't want to.
Oh my God.
So this is really funny. I actually told my mom, and I've been telling her all about Guild Wars 2 and all about everything, and she knew everything about what I do, and she's also super supportive.
Yeah.
But like, the first thing I did when I signed those papers was that I called my mom, and she had everyone on the family get on the call. And I made the announcement to them, and they all just started screaming. And
Oh, really? That's so cute.
amazing.
That's awesome. That's great.
I was actually taking care of her in when I think it was the year prior to the one I went to the party last year. The one before that, I had to go take care of my mom in DC because she was recovering from her medical situation, and she was doing her work as well because she works at the Tokyo embassy. So she had to come into DC to do some stuff with her work.
Yeah.
And I had to go take care of her, and so I unfortunately couldn't go to the party like I wanted to. But I made a poster for the developers, and I had someone deliver it for me. And I was sitting in the hotel with my mom, and I was showing her what I created for the developers, and then when they retweeted it and I showed it to her, she was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. That's so cool. They're so supportive for you, and it's so amazing. And then this last year when I went to the party, right after the party of last year, I immediately went to Tokyo to go see my mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed them the poster that year too, and it was just, they're so supportive about everything. And then when they finally found out that I finally made partner, they screamed.
That's
literally.
So cool. That's so good.
So,
Love it.
I have a very funny story with my mom. She asked me after, okay, what does it do? And I told her, I'm like, oh, I can transfer between Europe and North America. And she's like, they're gonna pay for plane tickets?
Oh, the mom response. That's so good.
Like, no.
No, you're gonna have to pay for that, Mum. Sorry. Amazing, awesome. Okay, before we go, thanks for sharing, everyone. Appreciate it. That's where people can find you, what times. Sell yourself for a minute, Rava.
All right. So you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Rava. I am live because mental health now. I used to be live every day, but now I'm live usually Fridays for a mental health stream. So I don't play Guild Wars 2. I play more chill games where we can have conversation around mental health. But then I play Guild Wars 2 on the weekend, and we do raid trainings. And now I can switch between servers. So if you need help, hit me up. I also have a YouTube channel. Soreyar is my editor because due to a back injury, I can't really edit anymore. And he's been fantastic. And I have Twitter. And one last thing that I just wanted to mention, May is mental health, but it's also a very important month for MS research, multiple sclerosis, which I am a researcher for. And we're going to be doing a month-long charity on my Twitch channel, raising funds for the MS International Federation. And MS affects everybody in the world, and it's so important because it is very debilitating. So if you want to help out, it would be fantastic. The reason why this is so important is that it's an international federation, so it will go to every countries who are really struggling with MS. It's not just one country, usually like charities do, which are also fantastic, by the way. But yeah, it's super important. So if you want, you can already go to my channel if you want to donate to MS Research. My project for my my postdoctoral fellowship was funded thanks to this, and I'm able to help a lot of people. We're creating an initiative that, sorry, I'm over talking, but so important.
No, you're fine.
We're creating an initiative to help people who have MS be more supported in the workplace because there's so much discrimination. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I wasn't funded by charities and donations and fundraisings. And there's so many people doing a lot of work. There's a lot of work with mental health. We're trying to hire more psychologists or mental health counselor for it to be free for people with MS. So if you can donate, it would be fantastic. It's so important. So there you go. Sorry.
Awesome. The description will have Rava's channel, so you can go there, donate all the monies.
Thank you.
Malcolmist.
I stream from Sundays until Wednesdays.
Jesus, that's a long time. You just stream for 3 days, like
6-hour
solid?
streams.
Whoa. Bloody hell.
Usually, every stream is usually Guild Wars 2. I do guild missions and stuff like that on Sundays, and then do variety stream of games, including coming up is Hellblade 2.
Mm-hmm.
So excited. But I usually do Guild Wars 2 throughout the week. In fact, Mondays we do infusion trains and rift weeklies with Iron Maiden and the crew and the community. And so like that. I also do a either 2 or 3 week, every 2 to 3 weeks I do a coloring page giveaway on Twitter. You do not have to have Twitter in order to participate. You can just come to the stream and use the redeem with the channel points, but it's completely up to how you decide to enter if you would like to, but that is every 2 to 3 weeks. And then I also do YouTube and TikTok as I can. It's basically for artwork. I do a lore video for the current, or lore videos for the current expansion for Soto. I've been doing a lot of stuff for like say Patha. I did Eparch and Queen Labrys and all that sort of stuff. So it's basically like art time lapses for a bunch of characters from the lore of Guild Wars 2, and I talk about just the lore behind it. I want to get more into lore, so you guys will probably expect more lore videos in the near future, but it's basically mainly art, time lapses, and lore and coloring pages and PvE content on stream.
Lovely. Good stuff. Kiyoshi, what do you do? What do you do? Do the things.
You can find me at it's Kiyoshi _ on Twitch and YouTube. I'm a bit of a degenerate, so I stream every single day at 4 p.m. Central. At least Thursdays and Fridays, I try to make sure I do some sort of raid training, raid CMs, or fractal CMs on those days. We start those at reset. That being said, I'm not limited to those days, so if you want to get into any of those things, let me know. If I'm free, I'm willing to start it up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to dabble in YouTube. I've only uploaded 2 little things, but at least it's something.
Good.
I guess that's
Nice.
I don't have as much to say as the rest.
It's okay. Short and sweet is good as well. Lovely. I have everyone's description again in the description. Everyone's description? Everyone's channel of choice is going to be in the description as well. And if they have affiliate links for the game, then those will go in as well. And I'll add those in the description. So if you want to support them through that, I will throw those in the description as well, as I normally do for anyone that comes onto the podcast. Chef, last but not least.
I was waiting to see if you had forgotten.
No, only once.
I don't have like initiatives or anything like that. I'm just like a guy who streams and makes videos. So if you have disposable income, you should definitely kick it towards the Rava and Malcolmist for the stuff that they're working on. I stream Monday and Friday is World versus World, which is like, that's the variety streams if you want to see different communities, see the way that different people approach it.
Mm-hmm.
I command on Tuesdays. And then there's usually variety over the weekend. I've been into Project Zomboid lately. I've been doing that a lot. I would really like to find a way to stream Planet Zoo in a way that's not like crushingly boring, because it's a a very fiddly, like design-oriented game, but I've really been liking playing it lately.
It's
and
very good.
like honestly, other suggestions, stuff that people are into. I play a lot of games. I'm always down to try some new stuff out if people think it'd be entertaining to watch.
Cool. Lovely
Oh, and
job.
videos on YouTube every Thursday.
Aha, there we go. Awesome. Thank you all so much for watching. In the chat, live, if you're on YouTube, Spotify, Google, iTunes, God knows every other place we are under the sun. If you can chuck a review of the Lightbringers podcast, I'd really appreciate it. So you can get the word out about this, share it with your friends, click the bell on YouTube so you can get a load of new episodes. I am Jebro. I'm the host of this show, as well as having a bunch of other people that host with me very, very regularly. We had a bunch of new awesome guests that joined us this week. They just hit Arenanet Partner. Congratulations to them again. Twitch.tv/JebroUnity. I stream mostly on a Friday for the podcast, and Saturday and Sunday sometimes. On a Sunday, but mostly on a Saturday. I do a lot of variety in Guild Wars 2. Loads of PvP games, etc. YouTube.com/JebroUnity as well for the Lightbringers podcast mostly. Otherwise, enjoy Guild Wars 2. Have a good week, and we may see you next week. We are not far away from the next drop of content for Guild Wars 2 and Secrets of the Obscure. So we'll be back talking about probably what we think is coming and maybe some story stuff soon. We will see. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. There is no music. God damn it. I was going to do like a dramatic goodbye.
And thanks for having us, Jebro. Honestly,
you're welcome.
Thank you, Jebro.
I am
You're the
really,
best.
really glad you could all show up at the same time. That was a bit of a gamble, honestly. I was like, yep, hopefully they can all come because I don't want to miss out. And there are new partners that have been added in the past months as well, like another people that I don't really know as well. So maybe we'll get them on in the future. But like anyone who's gone partner in the last year or so, like congratulations, and maybe we can get you on in the future. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. You take care. Have a great rest of your day, week, month. Mental health. Reach out to people. Do the things. Be kind. Be good. Give money to charity, and we'll see you next time on Lightbringers Podcast. Bye bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.